From the 28-yard line of Auburn. Bama going left to right. Bryce gets the snap, knee high. Looks, throws the fade route, near side end zone. Got it! Caught! Touchdown, Alabama! Caught by Ja'Cory Brooks in the end zone.
And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis! Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back! Auburn's going to win the football game! Auburn's going to win the football game!
And Alabama has come from nowhere to defeat the Auburn Tigers in multiple overtimes.
Titan Tigers, episode 16. It is March Madness time, my favorite time of the year.
It's fun.
It's the. I mean, look, we're both matching
Well, I think
today.
we do that. No, we ain't matching Adidas. We know the yeah.
I guess we're going with what I said, Auburn's doomsday, and you're back in the black too after the way they performed last week in the SEC tournament. I called it Tennessee beating them. I just didn't call the right SEC champion. Looked like Florida is the team to beat right now. So I guess we'll start off with that. It is March Madness. We'll get to our March Madness bracket challenge for Titan Tigers a little bit later once we get into that. But let's start off with the headlines first here. And we're starting with number one. Auburn gets the number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament, but they have lost 3 out of 4 games down the stretch to Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Alabama on senior day.
Yep.
Any concerns of you as an Auburn fan going in? I don't think any overall number one seed has ever lost 3 out of the last 4 games and still gotten the overall number one.
Well, they also have never had a conference like the SEC until this year. This is the first time the SEC, I think any conference has had, what was it, 11 teams?
There's 12 teams.
So when you have a conference that strong, we already discussed Auburn was going to lose some games in the gauntlet of the SEC teams. The fact that it was down at the end of the stretch, okay, we discovered our weakness, which is the same weakness I've discussed all year.
Yes.
Free throws. If we aren't going to be the better rebounding team, we have to be able to make free throws when they do foul us.
Yeah. You've been calling it all year, and we sit there and we're texting against the Tennessee game. They beat Tennessee if they make free throws.
Yeah. I mean, easily.
And the thing is like, man, that's like a day one type thing. I mean, to me, Bruce Pearl, I'm like, scrap practice. Y'all are shooting 500 free throws a day, and we're going to go and make that a priority. Can this team win it all, Chance?
I do think they can, but it's going to come down to a lot of other teams struggling. So if a lot of number one teams have issues, like an injured player or something like that, I think it's a easy road for Auburn.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be Auburn having to prove themselves with free throws and three-pointers throughout the entire time.
Because they're mainly an inside-out team. They play a lot of inside ball with the bigs.
Even our guards drive and do layups when they don't need to.
But you watch that game, and then you watch Florida, and Florida's just so up and down. Guys running and gunning, knocking down threes, which worries me with Florida and Alabama because they live and die by the three. But Florida seems like they've worked a lot more inside lately like Auburn has.
Yeah.
But again, it's like Auburn's getting fouled. Okay, then they miss both free throws. So it's not like they're not getting the attempts because it was a pretty even amount of attempts against Tennessee. But, I'm just thinking to myself, I look back now, I'm like, Auburn was 10-5 against ranked opponents this year.
Okay.
Bama was 11-7 and Florida was 8-2.
Yeah.
That number was a lot bigger before the NCAA tournament. Florida was only 5-2. They won 3 games. Bama won a couple. So again, to me, Auburn was a lot farther ahead, and that's why I think they were the number 1 overall. And that kind of got marked. But I watched that game. They did not look like the same Auburn team that was earlier in the year. So Pearl's got to get it together, I think. And except free throws. They make their free throws. They win probably 2 of those games down the stretch, especially Alabama and especially Tennessee. So
yeah, I agree. But also everything about the SEC tournament is going to come into play when we do our head-to-head and in this March Madness.
Yeah.
And we'll explain why a lot of SEC teams will get upset by teams they shouldn't.
Really?
You got to think about it. No other conference had the struggles that all these SEC teams had in one tournament right before this tournament.
So you don't think it's going to be the opposite where SEC is going to play such good competition and they're going to go and there could be 6 out of 8 teams in the Elite Eight?
I think there's going to be some teams like Mississippi State and teams like that we expect to move on.
Okay.
And then they're just going to get upset by the fact that they don't have enough endurance on the bench or something like that because of how struggling the SEC was.
Wow. Okay.
That's my theory.
All right. Big news in the NFL world. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both get huge deals with the Bengals. Any money for the defense? I mean, 60.
Yeah, show that defense now.
$69 million for 2 wide receivers, NFL record. It's the highest duo outside of Hill and Waddle in Miami, which, like you said, may or may not happen next year.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be there.
Burrow's making $55 million a year. The salary cap's at $279 million. They're making $124 between 3 players. So that means $155 left for the rest. I know it's a lot of math numbers, but is this a smart move? I mean, their offense is incredible.
Apparently, this is what it took to keep them. That's what I'm seeing. If they didn't spend this kind of money, Higgins might have left, I'm guessing.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
so, I don't think it's a smart move, but I think it's what they felt they had to do.
Yeah.
Now you've got linemen that are on the edge of their contracts that after 1 year, you're going to have to renegotiate. When you don't have that money for them, they're going to cut and run. They'll say, yeah, I love playing with Joe. He's great, but I need my money.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to come into play is, as a management, do you think this is going to benefit your team after 1 year?
Yeah. Well, I think that you're looking at a lot of 35, 28, 42, 35 games. They're going to just say, hey, we're just going to outscore. It's going to be like the LSU team with Joe Burrow and Jefferson. And it's like, we're just going to outscore you. If you score 28 points, that's fine. We're going to score 42. But again, they're going to have to be really smart and piece together. I'm surprised Burrow hasn't taken less money. Like Allen's taking a cut, Mahomes is taking a cut. I don't know. Well, that's a lot of money for 3 players. And if one goes down, it's like, my gosh, that's $55 million just on the bench.
Well, you got Allen, who is engaged to, what's her name, the actress.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld.
So, Haley Steinfeld. So, you know he's set for life. So, he's not going to punish his team by saying, look, y'all need to give me more money. He's going to say, look, I want a better team. I want some legacy behind me. I'll make enough money.
Brady was the same way. He had Giselle, though.
Brady had Giselle. You've got Burrow, who's with the other little model girl now, Olivia Pontoon or whatever. The one who called the cops when her.
So I don't keep up with Burrow's model. Usually,
Well, I mean, so he's dating a model as well.
Yeah.
So they'll always have money. So I wonder why he didn't make that sacrifice. So I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the location. Like, you stuck me in Cincinnati for the rest of my life. Yeah, I'm going to get my money. I can understand that.
You saw, actually, Jamar Chase made a comment about how bad the food was in Cincinnati. There's something they're going to change. And they actually ranked 32nd out of 32nd on food compared to all the players. It was the worst town for food.
Yeah.
Burrow, though, I think about this. How many commercials do you see Joe Burrow on?
Not a lot, actually.
Not a lot. And I just thought about that in the moment. I'm like, Mahomes is able to give away so much because I think Mahomes is making so much off the field. Him and his wife own the soccer team. He's got dividends in the Royals, like, and he's in every State Farm commercial,
women's team, all that stuff.
Yeah. So, but like Josh Allen, same thing. You've seen Josh Allen a lot more commercials, but Burrow's not really any. So maybe he's like, man, this is the only money I'm making. I don't know. That's just a lot to invest in 3 players.
Burrow has agents and managers that are investing his money as well for him. He's not just making money off of football.
Yeah.
He's definitely got other
you just don't see it, I guess, is the point.
So that's actually how you said you didn't know about his dating life?
Yeah.
It's because he keeps everything personal.
Yeah, he does.
If she wouldn't have called the cops and the world public found out about her being the one that called the cops, nobody would have known he was dating.
Yeah.
So he keeps his life personal, which is great.
Yeah, I think it's great too. Yeah. But it's weird to me that, like I said, as good as he is and how great he's been that he doesn't have more other things going outside of football.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot to invest in 3 players. Next topic, topic number 3, NIL deals can be reached for universities before enrollment. Is that a smart move? Is that good for high school athletes, Chance? You've been a high school coach. You've also been a high school player. To give you that kind of money before you get into college or before you're 18, I know what you would have done with it. I know what I would have done with it.
Well, I mean, just for shits and giggles, I was already trying to go to bars before I was a freshman in college with a fake ID. So, I mean, if you give me that kind of money, I'm getting all my friends in the bar. We'll pay for illegal age and all that stuff. I can only imagine there's going to be a lot of negative things that happen. But there's going to be so many good things that come from it too that it's going to be hard to argue.
And helping a lot of families that struggle and things like that. But like I said, to me now, it's these NIL and these boosters are now able to go into high school players that are going to come to Michigan, Florida, Auburn, Alabama, or wherever and say, hey, here's $15 million. That's exaggerating, but here's $5 million
just say
to come to our school, and that's a lot to put into a young kid's hands.
Well, just say $200,000. That's the ability to buy a car.
$200,000, yeah, that's a good,
and put a down payment on a house. So you give a kid the ability to buy, say, a $50,000 car or $100,000 car that can go 160 miles an hour. You saw what had happened with Ruggs.
Yeah.
Just imagine a 16-year-old, 17-year-old. Like, kids graduate at 17 now.
Yeah.
So, or
we
graduate at 17.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, you don't have to be an adult just to have that kind of access.
Well, you've heard this over for me for, I think, 10 years I've talked about this chance of, like, it's going to turn into the childhood actor type thing.
Yeah.
Anytime in the past of all these great actors that have been given so much, getting on drugs, other things, parents stealing from them, the list goes on and on from Aaron Carter.
Well, the parents stealing from them, that happened with Cam's.
The Coreys, Macaulay Culkin, Aaron Carter, so many kids that are like given so much so young. There's very few Drew Barrymores out there, you know what I'm saying, that have been famous since they were 5 years old, that have
kept their shit together.
Exactly, yes. So, all right, next topic. Japan, Major League Baseball has started. Cubs play the Dodgers in Japan. Obviously, Ohtani, they got a pitcher that's Japanese. The Cubs got a pitcher. You see that baseball has gone over there a couple years now, really to promote Ohtani. He's the big name brand. But you see football. Football has gone to Mexico. Football has gone to Germany and London. They're going to London every year now. Yep. I think the Jags go there twice a year. Do you ever think a team will be outside, a professional team will ever be outside U.S. and Canada? Obviously, hockey and most of the pro sports have Toronto teams. Will there ever be a team outside of U.S. and Canada in the future? And where do you think it would be?
I think the only way it'll work is that they'll add 2 teams. They'll add another team to the country, and they'll add 1 team out of the country.
Okay.
I think that they've set their sights on London very well.
Yes.
And if not London, Germany. I think that's just another location they'll have fun with for a team. But if you look at all of the cooperation between all these different countries and their professional levels of the same sports that they try to compete and stuff, and then they bring ours over and see it's a completely different level, you see it trying to grow everywhere and become a whole, I guess the word I'm looking for is a united sport thing.
Yeah.
It's better than how politics is with every country communicating. Yeah. Sports is the best way of getting people on the same page, getting people to compete and communicate. I think it's great that it's going somewhere else, and I think that it's going to be London or somewhere over here.
What sport?
Football.
Okay.
Basketball would be the smartest move because I think
it's an international game, but they already have a great Euro League over there, so it's like bringing a team.
You would have to. It would diminish one of the leagues.
Yeah, exactly.
If you did that.
And there is no pro football league over there.
Exactly. So they would add a team there. They've got rugby, they've got soccer, all that. But I think it would be an American team, or not an American team, but you know what I mean.
American football,
NFL team going over there.
I think Mexico would probably be the best bet because of the time zone issues. Obviously, sports, especially in college, they don't care about time zones anymore. You got UCLA and Rutgers in the same conference now. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, they're coast to coast on some of these conferences, in the Big Ten especially. But there's a huge time zone gap. I actually like the 2-team idea, but I actually like it where you play London, you play Germany, you get a bye week, and then you come back. Like, something like that. That's why I think staying over there for a longer period of time, kind of getting, whether it's a bye week before or a bye week after, to accumulate for the time situation, or a Monday night game, and then, whatever the case may be. But I think 2 teams is the way to go.
Let me go back on that. If the second team had to be anywhere else, Mexico. I don't know why I forgot about that. Mexico City, Mexico would be a great location.
And they have great turnouts every time the football game. The Raiders game was down there last year. I think that would be because the time zone thing. There's not too much crazy of a time zone,
and it's less traveling. Yes. You don't have to actually go overseas or anything. It would just be a border.
Exactly. But again, I just think that every time they play NFL football over there, they pack the stadium. Yeah. I think that's one thing that could do well over there.
You see how soccer does over there. Even though it's not a country with more money than us, that country spends more money on one sport than we could ever dream.
and not to mention, like I said, Japan, they're playing baseball right now, and this is real games. The season doesn't start for another couple weeks. Yeah. So they're giving them a whole 2 weeks to come back and actually, get back into
accumulate jet lag,
all that stuff. So that's stuff you got to think about too. But again, they're paid millions of dollars. Multi-millions of dollars,
Yeah, but I hate that you, as a player for them, to be like, look, y'all are making me go do this in Japan and play, I want more money. you get to travel to Japan and live out there for a week and play. That should be like the Olympic type things where you want to do that.
Yes, well, they were saying like Mookie Betts, and then we're like, we got Ohtani with us. We're like, this is like when Chris Tucker went with Jackie Chan back to. I'm serious. They were like, we got the king of the world here, you know. Right. So they were obviously like Freeman was following him around and stuff. So I take it more of an experience. I don't know if you remember that college basketball teams used to do that a lot, to go play overseas.
Yeah.
Michigan did it, but they would go spend a week in overseas. I think Alabama's done that with Nate Oates.
But now they're doing more of the like on the boat thing.
Yes,
right?
yes. And going to
carriers or whatever.
Well, not just that, but Maui, going to Maui and stuff like that, and Cancun and things like that, instead of going all the way over to Europe. So
trying new inventive things.
Exactly.
Like the one they did on the water was very cool. I thought that was cool, but you can only fit a limited amount of fans.
I was thinking more of the wind.
Right. I know they adjusted for it in their warm-up shots, but still, like in the middle of a game, you'd be like,
it's like a lot of layups and dunks. It should have been the under in that game.
Right.
So, all right, last topic, March Madness is here. We're going to talk about the brackets in just a minute, but now that March Madness is gone, do you think it's the best postseason in sports? You know, I'll give you my quick...
It used to be.
It used to be. What is, to me, it's a one-game elimination. Basketball's one of those things where, like, usually the better team always doesn't win. Shots don't fall, fouls go, guys get fouled out. But do you like the series or the one game?
So I do not like series.
Okay.
I never liked it in baseball because a lot of times it becomes strategy.
Yes.
You could care less about winning 2 games because you're sitting your best pitchers and your batters and stuff. For when you know theirs are tired and worn out, and then you win the last 4 in a stretch. That's all strategy and not actually who's the better team when the time counts.
Yeah.
I want to see one-on-one matchups, sudden death, live or go home.
So you look at it, NFL, college football, NCAA men and women's basketball are all one game and done.
Yes.
And man, are those not some of the most popular postseasons in the world?
And that's what I was saying. NCAA March Madness used to be. I think college football is going to become.
Well, they're taking, they're taking,
learning,
yeah. And then NFL is that one and done. I mean, the sport's a little bit different. All right, hockey, NBA, and baseball all are best of 7.
Exactly.
And how long do those things last? And usually, like you said, how many times would I watch some of these series and they don't even win a game on the road, but they win the 4 at home?
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have to play good the whole time.
And it's not about the teams anymore either. It's about the ratings.
Yeah.
They want 6 or 7 games. Because
more money.
Yeah, they could care less who wins anymore.
Yeah.
So I'd rather it be, even if it moved down to a 3-game series.
Yeah.
That would be much better.
Well, that's why I said Game 7 is the best game in sports. Well, yeah, because it's sudden death finally. You're finally getting to what? All right, soccer is a home and home. I actually like the home and home. Because everybody can have one bad game. So at least you can go and play both things. Of course, they take the aggregate score and stuff like that. So I don't like if they both tie because that always a lot of controversy too. Or maybe a best of 3 on a neutral field.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be a best of 3 would probably be a better series. World Cup, pool play, and then 1-game elimination.
Yes.
So you get rid of the teams that don't succeed.
Which we grew up with that, like playing flag and stuff like that. Like we understand.
Do you like the pool play and then the 1 game to seed and then get rid of the bad teams?
But that's only for things that could benefit that way. I don't know if baseball needs to go into a pool play because that's a lot of games just to get you into a seeding bracket. For football, that's a lot of injuries because of the physicality. Soccer, I even think, could be injury prone from that.
The reason why I don't like pool play, and it's because I do it every weekend in baseball, is that you just may get a bad pool play matchup. You could play the 2 best teams in pool play and go 0-2 and not make the best bracket.
Yeah.
Well, those teams could go play for the championship, and yet these other teams get an easier route. So you're almost at the flick of a coin of what your draw is to determine. Like you see, they have that death bracket in the World Cup every 4 years. Where it's like, man, they're just in the group of death. It wasn't because there wasn't a good soccer team. They just got put with Spain and Germany.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't like pool play. NCAA football and baseball.
Now, before we get onto that, I will go back to the pool play thing. Like, that also comes to strategy.
Yeah.
Because I've done it through flag football and tournaments where we say, we're just going to forfeit our first 2 pool play games. And we'll get the worst seed. And we know we can beat the team that's going to be the top seed because we beat them last year.
Yeah.
And then we just whoop their butt.
That happens in baseball now. If it's all one bracket, they're saying, hey, just lose the first 2 games. It's still 1-game elimination, and we'll just save our best pitchers for the tournament.
So that's what I'm saying. With us, it's more of a health thing. We're older now, so we're saying, hey, we'll let them get themselves injured and less players, and we'll be healthy for 1 game and have all the energy we need.
Yeah.
And now we're in the championship. That's
That's a very good point. There's a couple of times we've played together where I've gotten to game 4 or 5, and I just can't move my legs.
Exactly.
NCAA softball and baseball is a 2-game elimination. So it's a tournament, but you have to get beat twice.
Yes.
I like that, actually. The Baseball World Series, if you lose, you still get another shot, but you got to make your way through the loser's bracket. Okay. And you still can get another shot.
Which, I mean, I guess I could see that. You can redeem yourself. I kind of like redemption. I've always believed in it.
Oh, I love those. I love those teams that lose early and end up making their way through the losers bracket and win it all. There's been a lot. I think Trussell's softball team actually has done that in their state championships run.
Now, football would be interesting that way because certain teams never lose twice.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be impressive to see. But again, that would extend these seasons so long.
And again, anything can happen on any given day.
Yes.
Last thing is golf. 4 rounds, and they cut after the second round. So if you're at a certain point, they cut half the field.
You're not good enough.
But you get 4 rounds to, so even one bad round sometimes could cost you, but not. So there's a lot of different ones. Like I said, I think my favorite is a best-of-3 series. And if you split, if it's 2-0, one team wins. If it's split, it's a neutral site, and you play whoever wins that game.
So I think with agreement on that is dependent on sport. If the sport works for that, I'd say that is my best option instead of a series of 7. If the sport is too physical, one and done. That's what I think.
Yes, very true. So, all right, a lot of great topics today. I think some of the ones we haven't really ever discussed. It was a really cool conversation right there about the postseason. We're excited for March Madness. We're going to get to our bracket challenge. Hopefully, chance. I got an early draw. Ole Miss to the Final Four. I'm waiting to hear your take on that. That's a big push right there.
Why you gotta blow that up?
I'm just saying. Just on her thing.
So also like and subscribe on this and every other episode and clip that we have. Share it. It's going to come into play for people coming into our coming up segments and our
March Madness. Yeah, so we'll talk about the giveaway in the March Madness, but yes, it'll be a $100 Academy gift card. We'll be giving away to our bracket challenge winner, but you must be subscribed to YouTube and to the channel Tide and Tigers. We'll be back in a minute. March Madness, baby.
War Eagle.